Hi, can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Okay, Asa, what does the 2021 International Human Solidarity Day mean to you?
Okay, for us in ACT, Aksi Cepat Tanggap, we know that Indonesia as archipelago consists of 17,000 islands in Indonesia and is located in Pacific Rings of Fire. High risk of disaster, of course, and can be a danger for its citizen. So, ACT, Aksi Cepat Tanggap, for us that we are the frontliner whenever disaster occur, such as flood, earthquake, and the newest like magma volcano eruption. We try our best to be the fastest and the most responsive institution to act and help people out there from the moment of emergency until its recovery. This is the meaning of international humanity for us.
All right, so when you talk about natural disasters, it could, go up to thousands of, occurrences here in Indonesia. So could you please tell us some initiatives that the ACT has done so far?
Okay, actually, we have a lot of programs. For example, food truck or bus truck. We know that ACT Aksi Cepat Tanggap wants to be the fastest and the most responsive institution in terms of disaster. So that's why we have this kind of program, food truck. Why we want to have a food truck? Simply because we want to deliver the food as fast as possible
Yeah.
to the people
Mm-hmm.
directly. So we know, for example, like in Semeru, we know that this location actually it's so difficult for us to deliver the food. So that's why we have this kind of program, food truck, because in the truck, in the bus, we can deliver the food uh, directly to the people as fast as possible.
So how do you manage the food trucks? I mean, do you have branches in many cities in Indonesia, for example, to be able to have the responsiveness that you're talking about?
Okay, that's a very good question. Up until now, ACT we have 99 branches all over Indonesia, from Aceh until Papua. So in Semeru we have Malang branches, we have Surabaya branches, and we have Ponorogo branches, which is near to the Semeru.
So yeah,
So from these 99 branches, we can go to the most of the part in Indonesia as fast as possible.
right. So Esa, you've mentioned about your branches in Indonesia, and maybe you have mentioned also your action, your act as the SCT went there to the Semeru victims. So maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more. What did you do there, and actually how did the respond from the evacuees there?
Okay. Actually, there are two things if we are talking about the disaster. The first point is emergency, and the second one is recovery. If you are talking about emergency, this is the necessities that are really in urgent. For example, like clothes, food, as well as the toiletries and health, medicine. This is the urgency that we need to deliver to the people as fast as possible. This is emergency. And the second one, after emergency, we have recovery process.
Mm-hmm.
As we know that the houses really destroyed by the magma volcano. So we want to help people by building their house. We have community shelter. We have a shelter as what we call temporary house for them. So this is the recovery process, and this is what we are going up until now in Semeru and other places.
Okay. And as we know that Indonesia is also experiencing various natural disaster at the moment, but what social program that are on your priority list now?
In our priorities now, we have two kind of programs.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is we call it food programs, and the second one is related to disaster, like disaster management and flood and so on, like this kind of disaster management. This is the first one, and the second one we have food. especially during pandemic.
All right, so we're curious. You've done a lot of things and a lot of occurrences, as well as the pandemic that hit Indonesia. We're curious, what's the most memorable, inspiring moment during these solidarity actions, if you may share with us?
Okay. Actually, we have a lot of stories in ACT, Aksi Cepat Tanggap. But I will tell you about the story in NTT, Nusa Tenggara Timur. Because at that time, we have healthcare program, let's say healthcare program. And this healthcare program, we go to the outer island of Indonesia. We know that outer island have a little access to healthcare. So we go to the outer island in Indonesia, and we bring the healthcare facilities for them. There are two children that I remember at that time. These two children experienced the malnutrition, and because of this, yeah, as we know that malnutrition will have another problem, especially for children. So we go to them and we create a program in order to make them healthy again in terms of food, and also the education, because so many people, they don't know the malnutrition, not because the food itself, but because the education that they don't know, and they don't care about the healthcare, about the food. So that's why we give the education, we give the healthcare as well. And these two children, we we care for them around 3 months, and after around 3 months, we go to our headquarters again in Jakarta. So once again, after a long time period, we go to NTT, to the same place after the long period, but these two children still remember us. And so they said to us that thank you, Kak, because of you, now we can gain back our healthy. And that moment, it's so meaningful for us, because we can help people, because we can contribute to people, even though it is very small.
Yeah, it melts our hearts. Right?
Yes, it's a very inspiring story.
But I mean, how do you gather the help? Do you gather teachers as well, doctors? And what if people want to be volunteers? Can they contact you and join what you do?
Okay, actually, we have a lot of type of volunteerism. If you are a doctor, you can join with us. If you are a journalist, you can join us. If you are a digital marketer, you can even join us. So we accept all of professional background to join us, and we can collaborate each other, because for example, I'm a digital marketer, maybe I don't know about healthcare, so that's why we collaborate with another person who have skill in doctor, or maybe medicine, or maybe healthcare. So we bring together this all of professional background, such as marketing, such as finance, even finance, such as healthcare, medicine. We collaborate with all of these people, and we go to the people to bring the solution for them.
Right.
great.
So this is the last question for you, Esa. So since tomorrow we are going to celebrate the 2021 International Human Solidarity Day. So what does that mean to you and ACT, and what are your hopes for the future?
Okay. For me, this is the call. We call it call, or maybe calling, or maybe in Indonesia we call it panggilan, panggilan jiwa. So this calling, actually, we have in our heart for all of human. We have this kind of calling. So I really want people that they also care to each other, because the one who is lost is not them. For example, there is affected people in Semeru. The one who is lost is not them, but the one who is lost is us if we don't help them.
Wow, that's deep.
So that's why for me this is really cool, and not only me as a digital marketing, but all of us as a human being, we have this kind of call.
Right. It's very deep and it's very
yeah.
meaningful. Thank you very much for giving us such an inspiration with this conversation this evening. So stay safe and healthy, Esa Dwiyan from ACT. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.